Andrea Streek is caught on camera, but who's that with her?
We've now got a lead and we're getting closer to finding out where she is.
And the body found at a favourite family holiday spot.
No, there's not much to save you in there.
Is this computer connector the clue the police are looking for?
Where does this fit?
And here in South Australia, a mum still waits in this empty house she built for her missing son.
So everything in here is his, but he's never seen it. He's just waiting for him to come home to.
Morning, everyone. 18 cases overnight.
It's 8 a.m. and the Missing Persons Unit are being briefed on another big day.
Liz, today you'll be continuing your search for Andrea Streek.
Senior Constable Liz Cicluna continues her search for missing teenage mum Andrea Streek. Andrea disappeared after placing a personals ad wanting to meet a truckee with tattoos.
The dangerous scenario is that she could be anywhere with anyone.
And forensic specialist Liza Brown gets the baffling case of an unidentified body.
We've tried South Australia, Victoria. Today we'll be trying Queensland.
The body of a middle-aged man was washed up on the banks of the Murray River weeks ago, and no one has claimed him.
Somebody's got to be missing him.
Let's go for it.
At South Australia's Missing Persons headquarters,
we've taken over the David Fletcher disappearance.
Senior Constable Rowan Crawford joins the Adelaide CIB in their search for missing 39-year-old David Fletcher. David rode off on his motorbike almost 3 years ago and disappeared.
We had someone in Tasmania who thought they'd seen him driving trucks. Also had reports that he was hiding out on fishing trawlers around the Port Lincoln area.
So while the Adelaide team sifts through the Fletcher file, back in Sydney, Liz and Pat are on their way to interview 18-year-old Andrea Streek's de facto.
It's a dangerous one. We want to get out there as quick as we can. She's possibly with a stranger and we don't know what's going on, so...
In our last program, Andrea walked out on de facto Daryl and her two little ones. She'd been caught secretly chatting up a truckee on the phone.
But when she got off the phone, I said, you were talking to a fella, and that's when she sort of broke down.
Today, Liz and Pat meet 46-year-old ex-truckee Daryl.
OK, can I take a seat? Yeah, sit down there, excellent. All right.
He's terrified the mum of these two young boys has come to harm.
Just worried that something's happened because she's such a beautiful person, you know, she's a very friendly nature. If she's not in the right frame of mind, you know, there's plenty of creatures out there that take advantage of people.
Daryl's world caved in the day he read this personal ad from the teenage mum wanting to meet a truckee aged between 20 and 40.
As soon as I read it, I knew it was her. I knew that it was her ad. And it stung me big time.
That's when he realised who Andrea was secretly talking to on the phone the day before she disappeared.
And I just said, you're talking to a fella then. And she just, from that point on, she just started to break down and cry. And, you know, that's when she sort of said, you know, you guys are trying to control me and Mum and Dad control me, you control me sort of thing. And she went down the room and packed a bag, just a small bag, and grabbed her makeup case and come out, and she was still standing there crying. And so she said, like I say, just like she was fighting with herself inside. And she even still kissed me and said sorry, and then went to the door and went out the door. It's not her, you know, she loves these guys.
At South Australia's Missing Persons Unit, an old case gets a new beginning.
David went missing just over 2 years ago now, in October of 2004.
Senior Constable Rowan Crawford is being briefed on the 3-year search for missing father David Fletcher.
So I just wanted to revisit the investigation with you and just go over some of the key points. And
Senior Constable Kim Pascoe from the Criminal Investigations Branch has been searching for David since 2004.
That's right. We've had a number of possible sightings as a result of both missing persons posters and some of the media releases that we've done.
Okay. I see from a number of sources indicates he had a drug problem.
We actually followed up with a recent doctor's appointment that he'd had not long before he disappeared, and from there he was referred to a rehabilitation clinic where he did actually attend and was ready to get going on a trial to get off the amphetamines. But the day that he was due to arrive to start the trial was actually when he's gone missing.
Back at missing mum Andrea Streek's house,
She loves trucks. She has a fascination for trucks.
3 days after she left her 2 toddlers for a truckee, her de facto Daryl is still searching for reasons.
She knows how much we'd all be hurting. And I know she wouldn't want that.
It's probably hurting her too.
No doubt. Big time. I just can't understand no contact. No one can.
But just as Liz and Pat are about to leave,
I'll give you a phone
Andrea's
call.
mum, Kim, arrives.
I just got a message from her.
Andrea has finally made contact.
I'm okay, I'm fine. Please stop the police from looking for me. I just need time to sort myself out. Please just look after the boys for me and tell Daryl I'm not with another man and I'm safe. I'm just getting some help I need.
For Daryl and his 2 little boys, the text is at least a start.
Please ring. Just please let someone know you're all right. It's hard. I wanted to know she's safe. I wanted to contact someone, mum, dad, anyone. Just ring someone. Let us know you're all right. We can work it out from there. Sorry. Yep. Yep.
In Sydney, 18-year-old runaway mum Andrea Streek has finally been spotted. These detectives in Windsor have been tracking Andrea's ATM withdrawals.
She's been seen at the Beresfield Express up near Newcastle, where she's made a purchase. Up there, we've got some pretty good CCTV footage of it, which matches her to a T.
And there's yet another new development.
She actually spoke to the cleaner and asked him whether or not he's a truck driver and whether he'd be prepared to take her to Scone. He indicated to her that he isn't, but if she wants to go out and ask the truck drivers around, and basically the CCTV footage then shows her going out into the car park and speaking with truck drivers.
This information matches the ad she placed wanting to meet a truckee with tattoos.
It's a bit of a worry though, considering that she's 18, she's got 2 kids, and she's just taken off and has left her kids at home and definitely out of character. I'm worried that she might be suffering from postnatal depression or some sort of stress.
In South Australia, Senior Constable Rowan Crawford is travelling to the tiny village of Wallaroo to meet the parents of missing man David Fletcher. Police believe David was hiding here because he owed money to Adelaide drug lords.
Amphetamines. Yeah. He was injecting them, so he was in a pretty bad way. He said to me when we were coming back from the rehabilitation centre, I hate myself for buying them, and he says, I hate the people that sold them. But I wasn't giving him any money. I wouldn't give him any money because I knew that he'd just spend it on drugs. And eventually he said to me one day, he said, Mum, can I have a motorbike? Would you buy me a motorbike? And we said, oh, yeah, sure, as long as you go and get a job.
So his parents bought him a second-hand motorbike. A week later, he was gone.
We started the 6th of November 2004. We've never seen him again.
Meanwhile, the hunt for 18-year-old mum Andrea Streek has entered day 4, and police are becoming even more concerned for her welfare.
My name's Senior Constable Chowdhury from
Windsor detectives have traced Andrea's call to a truckee in central western New South Wales.
Paul, is it?
Yeah.
Paul, I'm calling this number because I've made some urgent phone inquiries.
Yeah.
And we're trying to locate the missing person. Okay, that person's just hung the phone up. I'll try and... ring him back.
After 3 calls, it turns out Andrea has sent several messages to the truckee, and police believe he may be the key to finding her.
Paul.
Yeah.
I'm calling in regards to Andrea Streek. I'm a little bit shocked, a little bit astounded. The male person that identified himself as Paul is obviously aware that police are after the missing person. Didn't seem too concerned.
Hello. The person you have called is unavailable.
I'm getting worried. In the whole scheme of things, we still haven't really confirmed the welfare of Andrea. And we really don't know where she is. Hello, Paul.
Yeah.
Mate, it's Senior Constable Chowdhury here.
Would I be able to call you a bit later?
Mate, I really need to speak to you right now, so if you can just give me a minute, I'd be grateful.
Yeah.
Okay, very quickly. Now, you've indicated that you've received an SMS from Andrea.
Yeah, she said that she was going to Brisbane with a truck driver.
Okay, before we go any further, and it's...
Meanwhile, in South Australia, in Wallaroo,
This is a really nice, spacious room. It's
Jean
very
Fletcher
bright.
shows Rowan the brand new home she built for her missing son, David.
And as you can see, the view is absolutely magnificent.
David's parents lent him the money to put a deposit on the land. And over the last 3 years, while David's been missing, Jean's created the perfect home for her son and his young family.
It's all furnished, ready and waiting for him to come back.
Right.
So everything in here is his, but he's never seen it. He's just waiting for him to come home to. If he'd only come home.
Back at Missing Persons headquarters,
Hello, Daryl.
Oh, hello, Lynn.
Hello, it's Liz Cicluna calling.
6 days into the search for Andrea Streek, and there's finally a breakthrough.
She rang up. She was in a fair bit of a state.
Yeah.
And just said that she's all right. Her mum emphasised that she has to get to the police station and just notify that she's all right.
Do you know what the content was, like what she said?
She was almost to the point of self-harm, and her mum believed that.
Andrea's road trip, which was intended to sort things out, has become a nightmare.
Not looking too good, so...
And it wasn't until a good Samaritan in a road train stopped to help her.
So this male from Beresford is currently looking after her.
Supposedly, yeah.
Poor thing. All right, then. Look after yourself.
I will do.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
We're just still very worried for her. We need to find out who she's with. We can't confirm whether or not these people are helping her. So it's still very imperative that we find out where she is.
Back in South Australia, on the case of missing man David Fletcher,
Just be wiping inside of your mouth with this, 20 seconds on each side.
Rowan's taking a DNA swab from his mum, Jean.
Great, thank you very much.
This is one of the most difficult aspects of the job. The preparation for finding remains that often signals the end of hope. But David's grieving family refuses to give up.
He's always fancied working at Port Lincoln on the fishery things out to sea. He said, that's what I'd like to do, and I thought, well, to me, that'd be an ideal place to be.
We're hoping that's what's happened. But as time goes on, you know, you think, oh, probably not, that's not it.
At the Missing Persons Unit, forensic specialist Liza Brown has begun her investigation on the body recovered from the Murray River.
Orby Detectives, Peter Arm speaking.
Hi, it's Senior Constable Liza Brown from the Missing Persons Unit in Sydney. How are you going?
Good, thanks. How are you?
All they know is that the body is a middle-aged man, so police can only rely on Liza's forensic skills to identify the remains.
At this point, we're coming down first thing tomorrow morning for the post-mortem. We're pretty confident that once all the forensic procedures are finalised, that we'll hopefully get a good result and return the person to their family.
Meanwhile, after a week of searching, it's finally great news in the case of missing teenage mother Andrea Streek.
We're just pleased that she's come home on her own accord and has contacted everyone to let them know that she's safe.
Hello.
Andrea's back home safe and sound, and the relief on Daryl's face says it all.
Got some talking to do.
Liz still needs to know what happened.
So what happened? Where did you go?
Went up to Brisbane, and then we went out to Griffith, and then round to Shepparton, and yeah, I was ready to come home. And I've done a lot of thinking. He gave me a lot of time and no pressure.
And it's because of the stress of being such a young mum that the 18-year-old suddenly took off.
Yeah. Tried for so long just to keep it together and keep it inside, and that was what was wrong.
So for over a week, Andrea crisscrossed the country, pouring her heart out to a truckee named Shane.
I think we were very lucky that it was a good person that spotted that she was in trouble. You know, she could have. It could have been a lot worse, and obviously that what I was most fearful of. But, you know, it could have turned out a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah.
Down in Albury, Liza arrives with forensic dentist Dr. Chris Griffiths to help identify the body washed up on the banks of the Murray River.
Liza Brown, how are you?
Peter on, Liza.
Local Albury detectives, Peter Owen and Paul Stairs, have been working on the case for almost 2 weeks.
We believe it's a male between late 50s, early 60s. The body was fully clothed, 172 centimetres, we believe.
We've located the deceased here, snagged to a tree.
Right.
Now, this area is pretty close to the Albury CBD area. It's probably only about 700 metres downstream.
Sure.
There are some people, homeless people, that do camp by the river. We've managed to account for all of those as well.
So, with no locals missing and no identification on the body, police divers are called in to search the river for clues.
We're hoping that perhaps if the body did go in there, that perhaps he's dropped something out of his pockets, or they've become snagged as well, and other snags that are there.
But with divers still hours away, the team's best hope is if local campers stumble across belongings the man may have dropped on the bank. Back in Adelaide, Rowans arrived to meet David's brothers, who've been running their own search for nearly 3 years. Philip and older brother Stephen believed David had gone into hiding to avoid paying drug debts.
From some of the friends that I have spoken to, he did owe quite a bit of money, and he was always trying to sell me cars and just machinery equipment that he had owned.
But Philip and Stephen are realistic, and after 3 years, fear the worst.
What do you think's happened to your brother?
What I think would have happened to Dave was he would have got his motorbike ready, and I reckon that he would have went to get the stuff he needs, as in drugs, yes. And there would have been an altercation because he owes a lot of money and a lot of people are looking for him. So they would have taken that motorbike, and being our brother, he would have put a fight up because my parents bought it for him. And I reckon it's just got out of hand, and they beat him up too bad and killed him.
Back in Albury,
did you say there was any clothing or
forensic dentist Chris Griffiths begins his investigation by creating a profile of the dead man.
Could you work out any kind of socio-economic group from the type of clothing that was worn or the labels on the clothing? Or
It's reasonable sort of clothing. We had the jewellery looked at. It was a bracelet that you would buy from a jeweller. But the digital watch that he had on was a type that you would buy from a gas station or a variety store or some type.
With the bracelet and watch not revealing any secrets,
This bloke's had a huge amount of dental work.
Dr. Griffiths turns to the X-rays taken by the pathologist when the body was first recovered.
If you look at a dentition, it's a bit like if you're looking at the age of a car. You can tend to age an individual from the wear and tear on their teeth over a period of time. You know, if someone's got 4 implants at $3,000 a throw, you know they're probably not, you know, they're reasonably wealthy.
Dr. Griffiths can already confirm Detective Stare's suspicion that the man is about 55 and his extensive dental work indicates he was well off.
It's probably a good idea if we head down to the mortuary and go see what we can find down there, if you guys are happy with that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one.
Back in Adelaide,
Have a look at this beautiful view again and probably go down to the boat. Yeah, we'll go down to the boat.
there is not a day that goes by
We're trying to pretty up the place. I put
where David's
quite a few
mum
flowers
doesn't visit
down
the
here,
house she
some
built for her
vegetables.
missing son.
David's had it for about 15, 20 years. And
Even David's $10,000 fishing boat is being kept for when he returns.
And it's all ready to go, mechanically sound, ready for fishing.
Right.
Just waiting for David to come home, use it. David, if you're watching this and you're out there, just look at your mum. I've really suffered for the last 2 years, and I really need you to telephone me and let me know where you are. I'm sorry. So, David, you'll get on that phone and let me know where you are. Just let me know that you're safe.
If you're all right there, David, like I said, your mother's suffering. Give us a phone call. And, because we're forever thinking about you, and we will do for the rest of his life.
I wouldn't be able to pinch another scalpel off you with a new blade, would you? Oh, just a short handle one.
The job of identifying the body washed up on the bank of the Murray has moved to the mortuary, where Dr. Griffiths begins the autopsy.
So what we're doing, we're taking the radiographs, we're doing a physical dental charting where we write it down on the Interpol form, and we're taking these very accurate photographs too. The radiographic record is the most important record because we rely on the X-rays from the dentists that have treated this individual to match up with.
When complete, the doctor's forensic map will be the blueprint police need to make an identification.
We'll be looking at the report that Dr. Griffiths is compiling at the moment from the teeth, so we can try and narrow down a list of possibilities who we might be looking for. Once we have a fingerprint, what makes this person unique, then we can try and track down relatives and do a comparison.
Meanwhile, at Windsor, west of Sydney,
We're just glad that everyone's happy that you're back home again.
Andrea and Daryl begin the long road back by trying to talk about and understand what happened.
By lunchtime Saturday, when I hadn't heard, I knew, you know, I started to panic. That's why I rang the police, and by Saturday night I was in a bit of a state. Yeah, and it just got worse, you know, there's no contact. It just got worse, you know. Andy's the sort of person, she keeps contact all the time with lots of people. When you have someone like that that suddenly just disconnects from everyone, it's damn scary. Yeah.
If I'd asked for help a long time ago, then I wouldn't have even had to have gone through any of this. So, you know, there's a lot of really good young mums out there, but sometimes you just need a little bit of help, and you shouldn't hesitate to ask for that.
Being a young mum with 2 children, it's not easy. You know, postnatal depression is something that a lot of women suffer, and they definitely do need help, but she's got the numbers to contact, so hopefully she makes that phone call. We're all very supportive of her, and she's got a very supportive family, and we just hope for the best for them. See you later.
It's a good result, one that could have easily have ended in tragedy.
You all right?
Yeah.
In the case of the unidentified body at police headquarters here in Albury, a local resident has turned in a major piece of evidence.
That's the backpack?
A backpack was found on the banks of the Murray River, and investigators believe it belongs to their unidentified victim.
Harry Potter book, Kleenex toilet tissues, glad bags, the foodstuffs.
Every item is a possible clue to who this man might be.
Had a map of Albury. These are all mouldy because we're assuming that the backpack's been sitting in the bush for a while. So it's probably got a bit wet.
The clothes inside the backpack are a good indication to his social status.
A blue parka, again, that's hard yakka. That's the type of pants he had on.
It's almost like a road worker or truck driver or...
Yeah.
Very much.
That's right.
But there's one item that seems out of place.
Like a computer.
And it may be the key to unlock this man's identity.
This is very strange because it doesn't fit in, because everything here sort of indicates a blue-collar worker, and then you see like a USB converter and you go, where's this, where does this fit? And it doesn't fit.
It's a real mystery.
We just want to find this person's life.
The disappearance of a loving father. But what could possibly have made him leave? And is the girl in this photo Nicolee Moss? Only a face-to-face meeting will give her mum that answer. For Liza Brown, a breakthrough in her case of the unidentified body.